students can feel that they are valued, that they are growing, that they are understanding what the purpose of God is for their lives.
Cool. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
And just as a reminder, your students have already engaged with their life coaches in the Student Success Office, because that's how they got registered for classes and many other things. And we encourage them to meet regularly with their life coach throughout the semester and even the school year, right? Because that just is another resource for them to stay on track, make sure they know where to go for help, and maybe even occasional dating advice, I hear.
Yes, trust me, we have had our share on that. I will say for our freshmen, they are required to see us at least once a month. But as my team works with our students, they will determine and will engage in conversations with our students more than once a month, because we want to make sure that we are supporting them on their journey, we are guiding them, but we're also encouraging and challenging on their growth.
Awesome, thank you. All right, I'm going to ask Chaplain Molly to come up, Molly Duper. She is, well, as the name implies, our chaplain. And now you pretty much just go by Chap, right? Or Chap Molly, because we have multiple Chaps now, right? Well, I'm just going to hand that to you and then ask you a couple of questions.
Yes.
So I'm going to ask you kind of the same question I asked Martha, and feel free to share what you would like about what happens with campus ministry here on campus. But from your perspective, because you're essentially the campus pastor, right? Mm-hmm. What are 3 ways that you see that parents can support their students from a spiritual perspective this year?
Yes. Oh, it's so good to be with you all, and it's so good to see many of you. I already know you, and so it's good to see you again. I am known as Chap, sometimes Pastor Molly, sometimes even some call me Pastor Mom. So I have lots of different names, but yes, mostly go by Chap. I also am an alum of Union, and I got to serve on the campus ministries team when I was at Union, and my chaplains were Pastor Rich and Bill Fogg. And so it's so great to, honestly, it's a blessing to get to be a shepherd to this campus and a pastor to this campus. But how it does work, and that it's not just myself, it is the 2 other associate chaplains, Bill Fogg and Jolena. She was a student and she became an associate chaplain, and I'm already just so excited. She's such a blessing, and she's been such a blessing to this campus. But then we have a team of about 25 student leaders on campus ministries. And what our role is to shepherd the campus, to love the campus well, to listen to the campus, and to lead the campus into worship. And I was just talking with the team. We had our team training all this last week, and we're just talking about what our role is on campus. And I said, that we're not just campus ministries team is the one doing the ministry. It's the campus ministries team is the one that's listening and looking for those other students who have that God-giftedness, that want to be involved, that want to serve alongside Jesus, that want to get connected. And then it's getting them involved and helping them feel belonging and included, and getting them into spaces where they get to lead out in worship. I saw it last night. I was so excited. It was when I was at the United event, and some of the students, I was about to do it, but I just watched the student leaders and the campus ministries team. They went over to some of the freshmen. They started talking with them. They're like, "What? You're a drummer? Hey, you play piano? Okay, let's bring you over to the worship coordinator. Let's get you involved. Okay, we want this to be a campus that is ministering, and have a culture that this is a campus who serves together." I share this with the team all the time, that we first and foremost, we journey with Jesus, we journey with others, and we create spaces for others to journey with Jesus. And we get the privilege to do that. And so what that even looks like, is that okay that I just even share what a week could potentially look like? That we have lots of spaces for the students to enter into worship, that we have like a full week of worship. It looks like Monday we have a clock tower prayer time where the campus can come together and pray together. Tuesday we have a chapel time where we can gather together and worship with one another and deepening in friendship with each other and deepen in friendship with Jesus. On Wednesdays, we connect with the dorms ministries, and one thing that was just so cool to watch this last year, this was a dorm and student initiative that they just come together and they just worship. I mean, this campus, I'm telling you, these students love to worship. That just anytime that they can. This is like a really, it is so fun to worship with them. They'll just come together and they'll sing, and they sing for hours. And on Thursday, oh man, I'm sorry, I won't talk forever, but I just get so excited that this is so cool. It's student initiative that last year the students, they were like, you know what, they were like really excited to pray for one another. Then they got even more excited, like we should pray for the whole campus. And then we had just a couple like very businessy project manager students in the group, and they're like, I'm going to set up a Google Calendar invite. Let's go ahead and let's pray for the campus. Every Thursday at 7 a.m., let's go and walk around the campus and pray that this place is just kind of like walking around like Jericho, but instead of like having this place fall down, have like the Holy Spirit fall down on this place. And we just pray for protection. We pray for faculty and staff and students and parents. And you know what? Those students came every single Thursday morning at 7 a.m. praying for this campus, and they said, we want to do it again this year. And then on Friday, we have our Friday night family worship service. And then it also goes into the weekend. We have an amazing community of churches, including a CVC church that's just right across the street. And the pastors pour into these students. So how I would ask for your support, which I want you to know, like I see it as, man, we are partnering together to pour into your children for the growth of your children and the growth of the kingdom. Just so you know, I'm like, I am a mom myself, and I absolutely am like looking for people always to pour into my children, to pour goodness and love and mercy into my children and show them Jesus. And just so you know that is what we want to do with you, that we are partnering with you in that. And so how you can support is absolute. You can be praying along with us. Prayer. I love that was the number one thing that you guys put. And let them know, let your students know that they can get involved. If they haven't heard of us, which they should hear about us this week, we're worshiping with them morning and evening the entire week, and getting them involved as soon as possible and helping them feel like they belong. But I would have you just encourage them to find us, and also just for you all to know that we are a resource for you too. We pray for you. If you give me a call, I will absolutely love to pray for you. And it's not just a line that a pastor says. I just genuinely, if you ask for prayer, I'm going to pray for you that day, and the Lord's going to bring you to mind, and I'm going to pray for you the next week and the next. We really mean it when we say we want to partner with you, and we want to pray with you in this journey. And wow, I could just preach a sermon, but I'll stop.
Well, no, just one last thing I wanted to ask you about and make sure we talk about is, in addition to all those worship opportunities you mentioned, there's a lot of partnerships between campus ministries and residential life, and we typically have 30-some small groups that meet on campus throughout the week.
Yes.
Right? Everything
Yes.
from Bible studies to baking to playing disc golf, and all of them are about community, but about also worshiping and sharing what they're learning about God, right?
Yes. Yes.
What's the coolest one that you've heard of?
Okay, thank you so much. I'm so glad you brought this up because the two other things, yes, that we have connect groups and they go all throughout the week, and there's lots of like various ones. And honestly, the one I hear about so many different ones, but the one I continually hear about is it's called Abide, and it's a connect group, and genuinely, like, they love this one, and all they're doing is just diving into the Word. And they love it. They're like eating up the book of Ephesians, and I hear about it. They come and they're like, Pastor Molly, oh my goodness, let me tell you what I learned about in the book of Ephesians. And I'm like, yes and amen. I want to hear it. But I just think that that's actually fascinating, that that's the one I hear most about. And all of them, they dive into the Word. But that's a really exciting one. And I did want to share, the other thing is, creating spaces for students to serve also as student missionaries. It is really awesome that this is a school that really highlights going out and serving the community, the local community, but also out into the world. And this past year, we had 10 students say yes to going out and being a student missionary. And when after that, we work with each one to figure out, when does it work for you in your program? What does it look like in this space? Is it short-term ministry? Is it or a short-term mission? Is it a long-term mission? And each one of those students who said yes, they're all serving in various different ways this year, whether it's short-term mission, long-term mission, overseas here in Lincoln, and there's a plethora of opportunities to serve and get connected.
Cool. Well, thank you so
All right,
much.
thank you.
I will make one plug on top of that, though. One thing you can bug your kids about is say, are you going to Project Impact? Are you going to Project Impact? Are you going to Project Impact? There's the reason why. It's September 3. It's right at the beginning of the year, and those of you who attended here know what that's about because it's been going on for more than 40 years. But we close down classes for the day, and students are not required to join in, but the vast majority do. We take the day and we serve the Lincoln community. So there's 30, 40, 50 sites around town, and Campus Ministries team heads that up, and I know they're cooking on having that already. So September 3, right? Yeah, so it's a Thursday. Do ask your kids about that. All right, thanks a lot, Molly. Pastor Molly. All right, I would like to ask Claire Peebles to come down. Claire is a sophomore here at Union from Texas, so she's a long way from home. I'm going to just give you the microphone here. So Claire, why did you choose to attend Union to start with? Just tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I always knew that I wanted to have an Adventist education. I went to public school, K through 12, and I just knew that I really wanted to go to a university where my faith could be a part of my education as well as my community. And so just by attending, I just knew Union would be that for me personally. So.
Okay, cool. So did you know anybody when you came?
No, I did not know anybody. I had never been on campus before, and I had never even stepped foot in Nebraska. So it was a total leap of faith.
Okay, all right. So kind of what happened? How did you find community when you got here?
So what I did with that is I just really started to put myself out there. I started joining clubs. I went to events. I went to our worship opportunities. Tell your student to go to Vespers this Friday. It's really fun. And I just found that the more involved I became, the more people I got connected with. So.
Okay. Yeah. So beyond, well, just give us some tips for how these parents can encourage their students to start building their own community. What tips do you have?
Yeah, so my first one is tell your student to get outside of their comfort zone. I was so shy in high school. Like if you told me a year and a half ago that I'd be standing in front of you guys, I would not believe you. Get out of your comfort zone. Union is a fresh start, and you have so many opportunities to grow, and that's what I did. And so go to things even if you're nervous. Start conversations with people, because you'll just miss out on so many experiences if you don't put yourself out there just a little bit more. So.
Even just showing up, right?
Just show up. I promise if there's any students in here, someone will talk to you. You will know somebody by the end of the day, I promise.
And so you mentioned Vespers. We also have on Sunday night the handshake, those kinds
Yes.
of things that everyone's invited to. Yeah, just encourage them to get out there. Now I'm going to ask you one more question that I didn't warn you about.
Okay.
So you're a leader on campus this year, just after
Yes.
being here 1 year. Tell us about that a little bit. What job do you have, and kind of how did that come about?
Yeah, so I'm actually in 2 leadership opportunities right
Okay.
now. First is in campus ministries with Chaplain Molly. Absolutely love that. I'm a photographer on campus, and that just so far with leadership training has been the best experience for me. Everybody is just on the same path and wanting to just share Jesus and more Jesus. That's our theme for the year. And so that's just really exciting. And then I am also a lead in our other club called Elevate Enactus. And that's kind of a community outreach program where we have 3 different things that we, like different projects, community projects. And so I'm also a lead for one of those projects.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming and sharing with us.
Yeah, of course.
All right. Want to just pause for a minute because we do have some of the campus leaders here, and I'd just love to have them introduce themselves. I'm not going to bring the microphone around to save time, but that aren't going to be up front here. First of all, we'll start with Debbie over here. Well, I will bring you the mic. That's fine. Just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, I'm Debbie Eno. My role here is Vice President for Academics, so I'm over all of the academic areas, graduate and undergraduate. I am a graduate from here. I recognize some of you from when we went to Union together, and so that's kind of fun to see you bringing kids back. Let's see. I have been here working since 2003 as a faculty member and now in administration, so I'm excited to have you guys and your kids here.
Thanks. And I'm introducing these folks because they're going to be around today, and if you have questions or would like to talk to them, please seek them out. I'm going to come back here to Robert. So sorry, you're going to have to turn around, I guess.
My name is Robert Decker. I'm the VP of Finance here. I've been here this is actually 1 year today that I've been here at Union. My wife graduated from here in 1995, and her mother graduated from here back, I believe, in the 70s. So, and then we have a couple children going to the academy over here. So, thought is they'll be coming here too. So, we'll be like a 3rd generation when they come. So.
Very good. And you'll meet the rest throughout the rest of our time together here, so we won't stop and introduce them right now. All right, I'm going to ask Stacy Stocks to come down. She is our Dean of Students, and probably the one you most want to hear from. And right off the bat, we kind of do this every year. She probably talks to parents more than anyone else at Union, is my guess. And Stacy, tell us about what parents call you about the most.
Well, good morning, everyone. I'm Stacy Stocks, as Ryan said, the Dean of Students and the Director of Residential Life. So I oversee the men and the women's residential halls. And I have had the opportunity to connect with many of you, and I look forward to doing that throughout the next couple of days. We have had lots of questions, and I think one of the most common one is, what happens if my child gets sick? What do I do when they're sick? How can I help them from home? I'm thousands of miles away, or hundreds of miles away, or 10 minutes away. My kid is not feeling well. What do I do? And so we have a health center on campus where they can go and see our school nurse when they are open. We also have lots of opportunities here in Lincoln for urgent care and things like that that provide extra help to them. We as residential deans will check in with them, and we have a great relationship with our campus health department, where if the student goes and sees the campus health nurse and she says, oh, yep, you need to stay in your room today, you're not feeling well, or here's what we suggest, that she'll notify us just so we have a heads up that your child's not feeling well. And then we can follow up with them immediately and say, can we grab your lunch for you? Do you need crackers, ginger ale, water bottle? How can we help you? And so we connect with them. Many of them do need extra help. Some do not need extra help, but we do try and stay engaged. If the student doesn't reach out and your student calls you and says, Mom or Dad, I don't feel well, encourage them to reach out to us. You can feel free to reach out to us. Sometimes we don't know they're sick until it's been a day or two because they have not let us know. And so as we're checking on them in the evenings, we want to make sure that they're supported. So that's probably the most the common question I get asked.
So since you just talked about that, let's talk for a minute about You Will, the
Yes.
online option that's available as well, especially in the weekends or whatever. Can you tell us a little
Yes,
about that?
we have a great feature here on campus on their portal, and they can go in and sign up and register. And You Will is a service where they can actually see a physician or a care provider online, video conferencing. Depending on what illness they have, they can even be prescribed. If they need a head cold or they have a strep throat or something like that. There are lots of things in which the physician can actually send a prescription for them. You will also send them a note for missing classes, which is very helpful, and many of them would love to have that documentation of why they didn't attend a class. And so it's a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week available service, and they don't have to leave campus. They can use their phone, and many of them are smarter than I am in figuring out how to sign up and do it. But it has been a very helpful tool, especially on nights and weekends when our nurse is not available.
And there are also mental health counselors available as well, right?
Yes.
For students that maybe don't want to go see somebody directly.
Absolutely, and a lot of our students take advantage of those resources. They have a 24/7 opportunity to connect with a mental health counselor, and that can be as urgent, or maybe they want to schedule an appointment and continue to meet on a regular basis. That is free and available to all of our students. So encourage them to sign up for that. Encourage them to do that while they're feeling well. And then when they're not feeling well, they're already registered and they don't have to go through the process of getting registered.
Cool. So one of the other things you've talked about, getting asked about a lot, is when the dorm closes.
Yeah, so our dorm is open about 350 days a year, 24/7. We run all 3 desks. In the summer, we shut down Prescott desk for a little bit. But in general, we are open and available to you and to your student 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. All 4 deans live in the residential halls. In talking with some of you yesterday, many of you didn't know that, so I want to make sure if I didn't speak to you, all 4 of us live there. We're present. We live on the halls. We're available to your student. But we do close for about a week and a half or 2 weeks, depending on the calendar, at Christmas time. We close at noon on December 18th. And we reopen at noon on January 7. That's the Friday after classes end, so it's about 2 or 3 days for them to pack up and leave. And it's the Thursday before classes begin on Monday. I think it's the 11th this year. So that's the only time. Every other break, all summer long, they're welcome to remain in the residential halls. There's no rush for them to leave. You can schedule their flight at whatever works conveniently for you every other holiday. Just that December date, maybe mark that down or reach out to me afterwards. I'll be here at the end. December 18 at noon and January 7 at noon is when we reopen. Why do we do that? And I kind of explain this to students. Our campus resources are minimal during that time because many people are taking their holiday breaks. So providing them with food regularly and campus safety and our dean's schedules. Just our front desks aren't open because all of our students are gone, so we can't man those spaces. And so we want to make sure that while we are present and we do have security and people on staff and on campus, that it's not our best foot forward, and we want to provide your student with the best and safest experience, which we will do the other 350 days.
And the other thing you mentioned was getting mail.
Yes, getting mail. Where do I get mail? This is a tricky one because if you look outside of the buildings, the address is actually carved in stone on it. But that's not where you want to send your mail. So all mail goes to 3800 South 48th Street. That is the main address for the campus. And all mail goes to the mail room, which is down in the Don Love building, the building that has the arch in the basement of that building. So if you send your child a package or if you send your child a letter, 3800 South 48th Street is where you want to send that.
It's the main address on our website in case you don't remember that.
Yeah, and if they get a package, the mailroom will alert them. You have a package, your code to pick up, just like Amazon or Little Caesars, is 125. And they go down and say, I'm here for package 125, and they can pick that up. Where it gets tricky is if you deliver something from a grocery store, like flowers or a cake for their birthday. Or maybe you deliver food to them, or you want some DoorDash you're going to send to them. You want to DoorDash them chicken soup. They will need to use the physical address for their building. If you didn't get one yesterday, we have a stack of Residential Life handbooks. In the very front of that handbook is all the physical addresses. So when I tell students, if you're going to order a pizza or call 911, use the physical address, because that's where we want the delivery people or the security, safety, first responders to go in the case of an event. So each residential hall, Prescott, Culver, and Reese all have different physical addresses that you need for pizza, DoorDash, flowers, anything like that. We cannot accept Amazon packages at the residential halls. All of them have to go through the mailroom, so we are to refuse the drivers. So I always tell my own mother, who sends me mail and packages, if you sent it Wednesday, I'm not going to get it till Monday, because the mailroom isn't open after noon on Friday, and it's not open after, I think it's 1 o'clock on Friday, and it's not open on Sabbath and Sunday. So we don't get mail Friday afternoon, Sabbath, or Sunday. So everything that came in over the weekend will be available for your child on Monday. So just be thinking about that as you budget your shipping and things like that. So
are there any other tips you have for parents just as they support their students, especially those living in the residence halls?
Yeah. Something I've started with students and with my own children who, as Kim mentioned, I'm going to be breathing in a bag 2 years from now because my daughter will be a freshman. I can't even say that. And then my son is a year after her. But the thing that I've started with them and I've started with students is tell me something really great about today. What went well today? And then tell me something that didn't go as planned or well. So they're not like what was good or bad, but what went well, what was successful, what was a win today, and then kind of gauge the answers. I mean, you don't need to keep a data sheet or anything, but if regularly they're saying nothing was good or I didn't do anything, then that would be a reason to encourage them to be more engaged or even reach out to one of us. I sent Kim a lot of pictures of Zeldin, and many of you who I know, I'm like, there's Zeldin participating, there's Zeldin on time for class. Because we're your partners away from home. So my cell phone number is on my door, all the other deans as well. We want to partner with you and engage with you to support your young adult. So we will send you communication if we can, if we have your contact information, hey, your child's doing really well, or we do have a concern. But please reach out. Don't hesitate to reach out to them and to us. And I think asking those open-ended questions and kind of looking at the responses you get might give you information you need, might calm your fears, might help support your child. And kind of one of my other hats, aside from residential, is helping with essay activities. Encourage your students to attend events. Tonight we're taking them all mini golfing. It's a come and go, but it'll be a fun way for them to connect with people. And batting cages, mini golfing, batting cages, and frozen ice. So there's lots of events and ways for them to connect with people.
Cool.
Is that it?
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. And I'll be here afterwards.
Dean Stocks will be hanging around a little bit afterwards if you have more questions for her. Now, I want to talk for a minute about, well, let me get to the right slide here. Yeah, so about financial success, because as all of you know, that's kind of an important part of college life, is figuring out how to fund it effectively, right? And I know I talked to a number of you yesterday about how this works, but I want to just give you a few helpful hints, hopefully. The first is help your student understand the importance of paying attention to messaging. So email is the official communication platform here at Union, but we also have an app called U-Groups that we strongly encourage all the students to download, and there's a feed on there. It works kind of like a social media platform, and there are announcements on there. They're going to learn important stuff through their email, and that goes for academics, it goes for social, but it also goes for financial. So if they are missing a document from financial aid, they're going to be getting emails about it. Just encourage them to pay attention to those things, because ignoring them generally doesn't make them go away, as you all know well, I'm sure. Secondly, encourage them, and I will encourage you as well, to check the monthly statement that comes out, because this will give a snapshot of what their student account looks like at any given moment, well, especially at the end of the month or at the beginning of the month. So it looks something like this. I know you can't really see that. But it includes all the charges for the month and all the expected aid that maybe hasn't posted yet. And then we'll zoom in just a little bit. There's a gray bar there at the bottom, what you can see, and that gives you a snapshot of what your account looks like for the year. It shows kind of what your starting balance, ending balance, what credits, what debits happened, any pending aid, and then what we expect you to owe at that given moment. And so all the way on the right is the remaining balance there. And then at the top, what's highlighted is the payment due for that month. And I just want to explain really quickly how that works. Your student received a financial plan at some point, or if they haven't yet, they will very shortly, because maybe we just got their FAFSA or something like that. And on that financial plan, it'll outline all of the charges that we expect them to have and all of the financial aid they're being offered. And then they have, if it's a grant or a scholarship, typically it's automatically accepted, but if it's a loan, they'll need to decide whether to accept or decline that. And once, and for the first payment in August and January at the beginning of each term or semester, we just ask for a $1,000 payment. And the reason why is because charges don't go on until after classes are locked in, a week after school starts, and the aid isn't locked in at that time, because all that's based on what they actually registered for and stayed in. So we just ask for $1,000 at the beginning, just to keep it simple. And then any balance that's left after all the expected aid and all that is divided equally over the remaining 4 months of the term. So, you know, if the expected balance after all of your aid is $5,000 total for the semester, you'd pay that first $1,000 in August right now, you know, by the time school starts. And then you'd get, the top of your invoice would say $1,000 every month from September through December, as long as you keep those current. So that's just a quick look at how that works. And so the next tip, well, that's actually tied to that. The next tip is, if you don't have access to see your students' accounts, federal law says that we cannot release financial information or academic information to you unless your student has given us permission to do that. So you may want to make sure that they do that, especially if you're helping to fund their education. Before you leave, probably would be easier, but I'm going to show you a QR code in just a moment that has instructions on how to do that, along with a lot of other financial questions and answers that you might have. And that way you'll be able to see these monthly statements as well. And if you have multiple students, it's the same login. You'll just be able to select which student you want to see, and you'll be able to see their statements as well. So the last thing is, make sure that students are maximizing their financial aid and other sources of funding. You know, there are a lot of options out there. You know, we of course encourage students to work. In fact, research shows that working 10 hours a week actually improves grade point averages in college. So encourage your student to find a job. And in fact, there's going to be a college job fair here on Friday that everyone who's involved in Spark Start will be a part of, and they'll be able to connect with employers all over campus, find out what kind of jobs are available, and maybe even walk away with a job right then, or at least figure out what they're interested in and apply for those things. So that's a good way for them to earn funding towards helping to pay for their school. But there is a website, and it's also, I'm going to go ahead and pop here. You might want to take a picture of that. This is, we call our financial aid FAQ, or a financial FAQ. So there's a bunch of questions and answers on there that related to all the stuff I'm just talking about. There also is a link there to a website called Payment Help. So if a student gets into a trouble where they're actually not able to make those monthly payments, there's a lot of options there that they can pursue to help maximize those resources, including application for an additional scholarship if they need it. All right, I'm going to ask Kim to come back, because, you know, for those of you who are bringing students to Union for the first time, you won't know the difference. But for those of you who have students here, we've dramatically changed our meal plan this fall, and Kim spent a lot of time setting that up, so she's going to tell us a little bit about it.
Okay, well, just to let you know before you leave, if you want a sheet, this kind of tells you, it's kind of the roadmap of what's going on this year. We have spent a lot of time, and Robert, my partner in crime, we've spent some plenty of hours on this. we heard from students. I just want you to have a little bit of context. We surveyed our students a lot. We talked to them a lot. Our student senate was super active in this. We have a campus, I'm going to call it, a cafeteria advisory board. They're called CAB. They too are very influential. In our strategic plan, we have pillar teams, and they're called action teams. We had an action team that was just on this. So we have really dived in. We've looked at it. And this is what we came up with. We heard a lot of students concerned about, in previous years, we've weighed food. And so those, especially who want to eat protein, so let's say beans, you know, they would have beans. Well, that would cost them like $15 for some beans. The weighing kind of is clunky sometimes. People who wanted to eat healthy, they would find that salads, if they made a nice salad, it would cost a lot. So that didn't work very well. We've just heard all kinds of stuff. So what we've done is we've took all of the information we got, and this is what we've come up with. The plan is called Every Meal. And why it's called Every Meal is that we have 2 different places where students can get meals. And it's at Cooper's Corner, which is like a snack shop. It's there in the Student Center. If you were there last night, you might have seen it. And then we have the Union Market, and that's the primary dining hall. The dining hall, it's kind of neat. There's 2 different places. They're not open all the time. But there's 3 meals typically in the Union Market. And then on Sabbath and Sundays, there are 2 instead of 3 meals. So you have a typical 19-week meal. That's very typical of how many meals are open during the week. Now, on holidays, and sometimes like the pizza feed that we have on Sunday, sometimes the dining hall will be closed because we're feeding the whole campus. We want to encourage everybody to go to that for free. Yes, it's always for free. So what we've done is that your student, and I can tell you as a parent, this is, especially if my son was going somewhere away where I couldn't easily get him some mac and cheese or ramen or whatever, cuisine of choice at the moment. Your student from today, I mean, even a few days back, can eat all semester long. They will not go hungry unless they choose not to eat in there. They can eat every meal. That's why it's called Every Meal. Every meal that the Union Market is open, they can go in and have a meal. So Union Market has different times that they're open 3 times a day. On a typical day, they can go in there and have a meal. So for the student who just wants a bagel and cream cheese in the morning, they can have that. For the student who wants to build like hash browns and eggs and in a tortilla or whatever, they can do that too. And there's no weighing. If they eat inside, it's all you care to eat. So they can load up their plate. Oh, I really, really like this. I'm going to go back and get some more. Or I didn't really love that, so I'm going to go back and get something different. They can do that. This is to encourage them to eat in the dining hall, because as awesome as it is that we get to allow, or not allow, we get to provide students, a lot of students, their own room. It has also been a challenge to get them out of their rooms sometimes. So we want to get them into the dining halls and have some fun. We're actually planning some activities in there in the evening so that we can also encourage people to get down there. But if they eat in the dining hall, it's all you care to eat. Keep that in mind. Okay, if they go over to Cooper's Corner, they can do a meal exchange. So it's 6 o'clock at night. They don't want to go over to the Union Market. They want to go to Cooper's. They can go over to Cooper's and get a meal exchange, which means, again, they can have a meal during that time, but it's a combo. And right now, I believe it's a sandwich, a wrap, a salad. They build whatever they want. And then there's a side that could change every day. I don't know what the side's going to be. And then a drink. So that's their combo. That's their meal exchange. When you see this, this is where it gets a little confusing. There are meal blocks, and there are meals that are open. So over here, we had to do this in like 3 blocks, and this is kind of more of a information systems kind of thing to make sure that we could get the cards to activate correctly. There are 3 different blocks of time every single day. It does not mean there's something open every single one of those times, but rather those are blocks when you kind of think about it like there's restaurants, okay, right? Restaurants have hours. The hours are the Cooper's Corners and Union Market's hours. That's when they're open. That's when they can get their meals. The blocks, think of it as 1 meal, 1 block, 1 place, 1 location. So they can choose which meal, like if Cooper's and Union Market is both open, they get to choose 1 location for 1 meal during that one block of time. We will be assessing, just so that you know, I got to meet with Warrior Leadership, which is like our resident assistants and student deans and campus ministries and student association. And we're not sure that the blocks of time are going to be the perfect ones. We will assess that. We will look at it and see how that's going to go. But right now, I want you guys to know, your student will not have food insecurity. They will not go hungry at the end of the semester. We had our deans telling us that we would literally have students hanging out in front of the dining hall, like, do you have food on or do you have money on your card? Do you have money on your card? Do you have money on your card? Because they didn't have any food at the end of the semester. That's not going to happen. They can eat. So be assured of that. There's no more weighing. All they care to eat, if they inside the dining hall at Union Market, they can do a meal exchange if they want to. And I think that's pretty much the basis of it. So we're kind of excited about this. Oh, please. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. I should have said that. Absolutely. So when they go up there to tap their card, they just let the person know, I'd like to get a to-go box. And then they get their to-go box, and then they take it out. Yep, absolutely. Yes? What did you mean by exchange? Oh, sure. So because you have one meal per block of time, if they don't want to eat in the dining hall, in the Union Market dining hall, they can exchange that meal for a combo meal at Cooper's Corner.
That's
Yeah.
especially important late at night because Union Market typically closes at 7, but Cooper's Corner is open till 11. So if they want to eat in that window and they didn't go to supper already in Union Market, then they can go get that combo meal, and it won't count against them. It'll just be that meal for that block.
The point is they can't eat in both places in that same block of time.
That's correct. Yes, very good. And also, there is one, I'm sorry, go ahead. Yeah. Oh, no, go ahead.
So it's a flat meal charge per meal, whether they eat just a little bit or a big meal?
It's actually a flat meal charge per semester.
Yeah.
And yes, you eat as much as you want.
Or as little as you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So pretty much you're saying we choose, because I'm going to explain to my daughter,
Uh-huh.
if she wants to go to Cooper, she chooses that, but she can't all of a sudden run over and get a drink at the cafeteria.
Right.
Would it not
At the
let
same
them
time.
in? How would they know that?
Yeah, because the computer system that I don't really understand is set up so that it's one meal per block of time. Good question.
One addition though is last year a lot of the Union Market had a lot of barcoded items, bottled juice and chips and all that. It doesn't anymore. All that stuff is now in Cooper's. So if they go into Union Market, it's only stuff you get off the buffet or whatever, and then you can go back and get as much as you want as long as you stay in the dining room.
Okay, I'm going to come to you in just a second. Real quick, since you mentioned that, I was going to see if I could field any questions. There is a thing called flex spending, flex money. Every student who's on the plan gets $50 for the whole semester to get the very items that Ryan was talking about, anything barcoded items. So if they go to Cooper's Corner and they want a bag of chips, they can use their flex spending. It's $50. You guys can always put more money on the flex spending, but there is no need to put more money on the dining. Does that make sense? Because you can eat anytime with that. But the flex. Okay, yes, you had a question. Sure.
That's why I say it's one charge for the semester. Yeah, there's no per meal charge. It's just one charge for the semester.
Usually during the break, Dean Stocks, make sure I have this right. It's usually one meal during it's like a brunch and a dinner. Brunch and dinner. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yep. And then also just to let you know, when your student, if they are in nursing or in education or something, and they're going to be gone like the majority of the day, and they're going to miss breakfast and lunch like 5 days a week, what they need to do, they can go and talk to my office, to Angela or myself, and we can work on them for an accommodation. Because if you're not here for all of your meals, if you miss a few here and there, that's different. But if it's a consistent thing because your program is needing you to be in Omaha, 5 days a week, then we work with you. So just know that's definitely an option. Yeah. I think they can put it on as a flex, right? You can use flex monies, so they can pay for you with their flex money. Good question, yeah. And we encourage that. We're gonna start something called Tuesday Tunes, where we'll have live music on Tuesday evenings. I have a great student who's gonna be working on that, so we encourage you guys to come and see it. Yeah. Absolutely. Yep, you can pay with cash, absolutely. Is it 12? Yeah. Card. Actually, they will have cash, I think. I think they are. They didn't as of last week, but I think they will when school starts. Yeah.
I'm just curious, if a student were to participate in every meal possible, what is the average cost per meal?
I actually don't know. No, it's actually less.
It's
Quite a bit less. Yeah.
I want to speak for the financial guy. I mean, I know that I calculated it
Yeah.
up, but I'm not a numbers guy.
For if it's every meal?
Not if they go to all 19
Yeah.
the whole semester.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's significantly less, but
Yeah.
sorry, I don't have an answer for that.
Yeah. I should have done the math before. I'm sorry. Didn't even think about that, but yeah. Okay. Any other questions? These are great questions. And don't hesitate to reach out if you do have questions. Please. Yes. Okay.
Very good. All right, thank you. I'm going to invite Jennifer Shaw to come down. She's our Vice President for Advancement, and she's going to talk a little bit about how you can, another way you can get involved on campus, or several ways actually.
Yeah, so we want to make sure that you guys are able to stay connected while you're away, and there might be a link. Yeah, so UTV will be where you can check out our live broadcasts of events that will be taking place. And so that's a great one that you want to make sure, not creepy, it'll be fine, they won't know that you're watching. So go ahead and watch that when you're able to. Another important thing that we want to make sure that you're aware of is Parents Weekend. There's 2 Parents Weekends this year. You have 2 opportunities to come to campus.
Sorry, my dates are wrong up here, I just realized.
Oh, yeah. That's okay. So scratch that date. We are combining to make a really high weekend that we want you all, your first official invite to come to campus is October 2 through 4. So write down October 2 through 4. This will be the end of Mission Emphasis Week. So it will be a great collaboration with campus ministries. There'll be some students that will have come back as student missionaries that will hang their golden cords. So it will be just a great opportunity for you to fellowship with our campus. And then Sabbath, we'll have a wonderful church service. And Saturday night will be our annual cultural night, thanks to the International Club and Student Association, the SA. So you have to make sure to come to this. It's so much fun. Our Board of Trustees will also be on campus. We'll have Board of Trustees meetings Sunday and Monday. So it's just going to be a great opportunity for you guys to have a wonderful time on campus. Also, second semester, there'll be a Parents Weekend, and it will be in collaboration with Alumni Weekend, which is April 1 through 4. So make sure that you come back for that. That will be a Warrior reunion, so there'll be a lot of activities and games, and just a really fun time to make sure that you're back on campus.
And that QR code goes to our parent webpage, which has all those dates and
Yes.
things on it. So if you grab a photo of that, you can always refer back.
Thank you. The other thing to know about the October 2 through 4 is that it is a home Husker game. And for those of you that haven't been around Lincoln, it can be a little chaotic. So you're going to want to either stay at the Ortner Center, book that soon, or we have blocks of hotels. We have great relationships with the community here, and they are still going to honor our block rate, even though there's a Husker game. So make sure that you use that website, that you stay up to date on that, because that's going to be your saving grace for not spending more than $250 a night. Yes, that'll have the parent information, and it will have the block. The block of hotel rooms is already there. I looked at it yesterday. So, yes. Let's see, what else do I want to say? Oh, Janya is passing around paper to all of you to make sure that we have your email address correct. There is a weekly email that goes out from campus and lets you know what's happening on campus, and we want to make sure that we can stay in contact with you and let you know some of those great things that are happening, so that there'll be more opportunities that you might want to come to campus, but that'll help you to stay up to date on that.
Yeah, and then you can look for Union Adventist University on the socials there.
Yeah.
If you want to watch for pictures of your kids. And we also post a lot of pictures on Flickr, so you can look for Union Adventist University there as well.
Yeah. So, and I'm so excited to see all of you. There's so many alumni. And one thing I wanted to make sure that you knew is the advancement office will be back in this corner right above us. Thanks to some lovely gifts, our office is being renovated. So you can either catch us while we're here, or you can email us at advance@uau.edu. Or you can ask one of the other people in the offices and they can help get us to connect with you. But we're so excited you guys are here. There's so many alumni families. It's already like alumni weekend every time you guys are together. So thanks.
Awesome. Thanks, Jen. All right. I would like to invite our president. Oh, I caught her right in the middle of the aisle here. Our president, Dr. Yami Bazan, to come down. We want to talk a little bit about your story, actually. I'm going to hand you the mic. Yes. I don't think that's actually thunder, but I'm not sure what it is. I think it's the construction in Jen's office, but anyway.
There we go. We'll take it.
So,
hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Hola. So great to see all your faces. Before you ask me anything, I need you to know, as I was looking at at the beginning when you did your Kahoots, the things that you care deeply about and the things that you're worried about. I need you to know that we are aligned. The things that you care deeply about are absolutely our priorities all the time. Everything from the beautiful thing about being in a university is we care about the development of young adults who are growing their faith and their mind. And that means that they're in relationships, and so we care about the relationships. That means that we know that they are learning falling and getting up, and so we care about the falling and we care about the getting up. And so I want you to know, as the president who gets to serve all of your kids, that we are committed to the things. We're aligned. I think that's the exciting part about when we do Kahoots. It's kind of a reminder we're aligned. What you care about, we care about. It is why this is our mission field for us. It's why we do what we do. So thank you for entrusting us with your most precious gift from the Lord. Sorry, but you were going to ask a question.
Well, actually, we don't have a lot of time left.
Okay.
So I wonder if we should just take an opportunity to hear from some of the parents.
Yeah, questions that they might have.
Questions, or if they just want to tell. I mean, we talked a lot today, and we had some delays.
True.
So usually we have a little more time. We only have about.
Oh yeah, where they give advice to each other.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess this is really hard because no one wants to be the first. But if you would be willing to just share who you are and where your student's from, and maybe just real brief in a sentence, again, what your hope for your student is or why you're glad they're here. We'd love to hear right now. Now we're not going to have time for everybody, and that's okay. I'm sure many of you are thankful we want to have time for everybody. But if anyone's willing to share, and if not, that's okay. But we want to give opportunity for that. Oh.
Good morning. Well, I have a son now coming this year, and I'm really excited for it, for him to.
Any kind of music, any kind of technology, like if a student loves cameras, photography, for the introverts, that's a wonderful way in which they can get involved and be in the background, but serve, right? Right. Yeah. And we have so many needs for music and for tech and for that. If you know that they're they're not going to be like socially the, essay or whatever, but they love to play or do music. Just let them, let us know, let us get them connected, connect them to Molly, connect them to the deans, because then they could begin in small places, they can begin in house worships, they can just step into it, and it doesn't feel like I have to be an extrovert who has, a lot. It could feel like this is what I can contribute, especially photography, technology. I mean, it's really funny looking at all of our cameras that are being run oftentimes in campus. And if you know the students behind the camera, it's hard to get them to say hello, let alone, look, but they are there all the time. They are behind that. They are responsible. Their calling and ministry is going outreach more than we can imagine, and they're doing it in their own way, right?
And they're getting paid to go to events. We had a couple over here. I think Dan and then.
Mentioned how we prayed for the Holy Spirit last year. We have been praying all summer. We grab these cards, and now these cards in our PCs every week, we're reading them, praying over them. The work that you are worried about, the work that you experienced, the work that you just talked about was the Holy Spirit going ahead of you. And we believe it. For us, every student that comes here is a Holy Spirit sent life that he is forming, and we see it as our mission to enter with the Spirit. We can't make them do anything, as you very much parents know. The Spirit gives us the freedom, but the choices they will make won't be for a lack of hearing the voice in a variety of ways. It might just be that they need to grow into themselves and the love for the voice, right? And so much of that is the work that we do here. That's, I think, probably the most exciting part of the work that we do, and the most frustrating part of the work that we do is the work of the Holy Spirit, because we would like the Spirit to move in a direction that we have prescripted for the Spirit. And the Spirit always surprises us and says, I'm good. I've got this. How about you move in the direction that I know you need to move into, right? And so just know that this is a place, a year has been prayed that the Spirit fall on here. And a summer has been prayed that whoever he sends us is our mission. So now, I was reading this morning, because I'm a parent like you, and I'm constantly with my child in mind. And the word for me this morning was, I am your good shepherd. And what I heard him saying to me, I know you like being a shepherd. I know you like taking control, but I am your good shepherd, and I will go ahead of you. And I think as parents, that is what we trust. We trust that the good shepherd who formed our child loves our child more than we do. And we will all do our part, and we will fail, and we will mess up, but he will continue forming, and he will form us, and he will form them. And I think that's the one thing that I want to leave with you as parents. Remember that what's going to happen these next 4 years, the Spirit is forming you just as much as he's forming your child. And so it's going to be easy for us to prescribe to our child. But technically, what I am continually learning is that the Spirit would like to prescribe to me the becoming that I must do before I ask my son to become, right? And that is hard. And yet that's the work of eternity. It's becoming, right? So be encouraged and take on the becoming, because you're about, as Kim said, you're about to be changed. And that's an important change.
And on that note, we would like to invite you all to join us in, about 15 minutes over in the College View Church Sanctuary. It's I'll mention. I think it's that direction, but I might be backwards. I don't even know.
Yeah, 'cause that's
there. So it's that way. Yeah. There we go. I can see the atrium out there. All right. Anyway, point is, we call this a calling dedication. So we're basically going to be dedicating all of you and your students to God and to the Spirit. So I invite you to join us. You have about 15 minutes to do what you need to do. And yes, please leave your cards if you are comfortable doing that. We will pick those up. And we will see you over there. And it's, again, it's a worship service is really what it is. Yeah.